They're minting money.
I can't fault them for wanting to make money.
So, love it or hate it, there is a market.
It's the equivalent of turning up on Big Boss.
It is so complicated to follow it as a casual fan.
Why is the referee wearing a body cam?
No,
What DRS?
I don't have a problem with YouTube boxing. Let me be very clear.
They don't give a shit about the UFC.
Kids who watch it now, they'll be like, oh, is the UFC actually that good? Is it that legit? And that is my issue. I got my peaches down in Georgia. Oh, yeah. I don't know if you pronounce it like that. Sorry, I don't know these influencers.
He's a TikTok guy.
Please, just come in line, bro, and chill out a bit.
Dude, why? There is no reason. There is zero reason. Do you want to call out anybody? Are you looking to fight a KSI or a Jake Paul by any chance?
Calling out X Paul. Sorry, I don't know which one it was.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of All About Sports, the podcast. If you missed our last week's episode, do catch it. It's on Leicester City and their entire journey to becoming champions in 2016 and now more recently FA Cup winners, and kind of their story of how they evolved from being in one of the lower leagues in the English football pyramid to now moving up and really competing with the top teams in the Premier League. But with that, let's move into this week's episode. Kind of a fun one, a very hotly debated one, and one that even if you're not interested in sports, you've kind of been brought into. It's about YouTube and influencer boxing and this whole trend that's happened recently of we've seen YouTubers, we've seen TikTokers, we've seen all these people across social media calling out fighters from Floyd Mayweather to Conor McGregor to Canelo Alvarez even. It is an absolute craze. And we kind of had to talk about it and give you all an idea as to how we feel about it. So, Mazhar, I'm going to dive right into it. I'm going to go to you first. First off, how did this start? And secondly, how do you feel about this entire situation?
Krishnan, so firstly, I have to tackle the first part. I think it's very important for all our viewers and listeners to understand exactly how YouTube boxing started. Like everyone knows that, yes, it's taken off. Jake Paul and Logan Paul are the only thing that are being two people that are probably being talked about on YouTube a lot, especially in the US. But coming back to it, 2nd August 2017 is when it all started. Theo Baker and Joe Weller, these are two YouTubers who I don't know who they are. I'm sorry if I'm out of this, but I genuinely don't know who they are. But they started this thing as like a fake drama video. And it just happened to turn into a big fight. And that's when it just took off, because then Joe Weller won that fight and he won it in the 3rd round. And then he called out people and he's just trash talking and then calling out people. And then when Joe Weller and Theo Baker had announced the fight, there was this guy known as KSI. Now, I'm sorry for my ignorance here, but I still don't know who KSI is.
Bro, you didn't watch his FIFA videos growing up?
No, man, I didn't. I'm sorry, but I think I'm happy with the FIFA videos I watched.
Damn, fair enough.
But coming back to it, so KSI then tweeted on this announcement saying that he'll fight the winner. And, well, that's what happened. 26th August 2017 was, funny enough, 26th August 2017 was, if you guys want to guess what it was Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor. So 24 days apart from the first YouTube fight was Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor. Now it gets me thinking, obviously Floyd Mayweather and Conor fought on 26th August. Was Conor McGregor's bold or foolish or whatever you can call it decision in terms of an athlete, genius move in terms of money and business, but like in terms of him deciding to take a step and moving from mixed martial arts into boxing, now I really think was that the one instance that really led to this boom and made these YouTubers and social media influencers feel that, we should also do something like this. There is viewership. If Conor McGregor's trash talking is working out here, can it work for us as well? Why not? I'll just talk about some shit. I have like millions of followers. I'll just call out some other guy and be like, hey, I'll beat the shit out of you. They tried it. It seemed to have worked. So I'm just assuming here, maybe Conor McGregor's move was the catalyst for all of this. Maybe. In terms of the timeline, it seems to be. I know the YouTube fight came first, but obviously the Mayweather and McGregor conversation started way before. So it could have definitely have been the catalyst to it. Now, coming back to obviously how it started and all of that. So this Joe Weller won, then he fought KSI sometime later. Then there was full trash talking going on there, more than what we've seen Conor versus Khabib also maybe, and that was personal. So it gave it a very YouTube boxing. It started giving this very serious WWE vibes, if I can use that. I think that's the perfect way to explain it. And well, it just took off after that. They made their own belt, self-proclaimed champions after that. This KSI has gone unbeaten. KSI and Joe Weller fought in Feb 2018. So it was stretching along so much. There's so much content just for this one fight being put out by these guys. They're minting money. Man, great business tactic. So yeah, so my general opinion is that, well, they killed it in terms of making money. Brilliant businessmen, brilliant business acumen and minds to, leverage their power in the space, in the social media space, and make money out of it. And well, today's world is all about money, and we're seeing it in all industries. So why not, man? Well done to them. Credit to KSI for really making this boom into something that we've never seen before. And then that's when KSI called out Jake Paul and all the Paul, basically everyone in the Paul family.
Logan Paul.
Yeah. He called out everyone in the Paul. Yeah. He literally said, I call out Jake Paul, Logan Paul, and anyone in that Paul family. And then KSI's brother, he also called out Jake Paul. And then they also fought in the same card in the undercard. So just crazy, man. Like, I'm telling you, it's like serious WWE vibes. So that's my opinion of it. Killed it. It's absolutely, for me personally, it has stained combat sports in general in a lot of ways, because I would say that, like, they've made a mockery out of it in ways, and we'll get to that in a bit later in the segment as well. But according to me, it's hampered combat sports in general because it's made them look very small, and it's sort of made it insulting towards them, if I can say that, if that's the word I can use. Yeah.
That's an interesting, and Mazhar, you brought up the 2 points I want to quickly, to harp on, and then, switch to Gui kind of and get your opinion on this as well, Gui. One is, there's definitely a market for this. Love it or hate it, there is a market. They are selling out arenas and they're getting viewership, like it or hate it. The second thing that I think is a really interesting, question to bring up, especially with, the first thing that you mentioned of how close it was to Floyd versus Conor. The last fight, which was Ben Askren versus Jake Paul, was on the same night as UFC's fight night between Robert Whittaker and Kevin Gastelum. So it does bring up a very interesting point of how do these influence the sports, the two major, I want to say, combat sports that are competing against it, which is basically boxing and the UFC. So Gui, I want to go with you with that. I have some opinions on this, but I want to go to you first and get your opinion on how do you think this influences the other sports? Do you think it brings more light to boxing in a sense, because boxing has had a declining interest in recent years? Or does it harm it? Do you think people now just don't take boxing that seriously anymore? What are your opinions?
So I've taken, some rather, okay, not strange, but, very hardline stances, like with the IPL, shitting on it in the past, like in every episode possible. Like, football episode, I'll say shit. Why? Just because. But, just think about this. I was not watching boxing, okay? I was not. Let's be honest, I still don't really, but at least now I do follow. Like, you try to know what's happening in that world. And again, I completely avoid the YouTube boxing side of it because you couldn't care less. But at least you are now, something got me to follow the professional side of it, right? Like, I'm always going to appreciate an athlete who's put in like years over someone who's trying to leverage their following into earning more money. Okay, whatever. Like, I can't fault them for wanting to make money. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. Also, they are really helping guys who are going broke. Uh, so let's be honest.
Floyd.
If you're taking if you're taking a fight against any one of these guys, you are either out of work, out of money, irrelevant. It's the equivalent of turning up on Big Boss.
Yeah,
It's the same.
It's a good analogy.
it's a great example. Yeah.
Like, what are you doing there? Why would you want to fight any of them? Like, Ben Askren was supposed to, okay, I get that he is a wrestling champion, so he's going to be a better grappler and all of those reasons. But was anyone banking on Ben Askren losing that fight? No. No. Okay, let's be honest. You are never going to bet against a combat sports professional. Someone hasn't he been to the Olympics?
Yes, he's an
He
Olympian.
was an Olympian wrestler.
Yes,
Yeah,
he was an Olympian wrestler. He was, but sorry, Gui, I just wanted to add to what you said about Ben Askren, and this is me coming in like to his defense. And Chris Weidman said that these aren't my words. So Chris Weidman said Ben Askren was never a striker. He had gone away from the game for very long.
Very long. Yeah.
And the other thing was he also had a hip replacement surgery. So I mean, there were these things. I'm still saying that, like, lots of things, again, the reach advantage and all of that. I don't even think Ben Askren trained. I don't think he realized how hard Jake Paul was training and stuff as well.
Right?
So,
yeah.
Exactly. So I think, no, I'm just coming to his defense because I can't see my MMA people being shit on.
Yeah.
Just like that. Like, as much as, again, there's a lot of conspiracy theories I have to it, which we can.
Yeah, like the ref wearing a body cam.
I didn't know that, actually. I didn't know that.
Why is the referee wearing a body cam?
No,
what DRS? Whoa, what is going on?
Man, yeah. Like, I mean, why would see, Gui, there are lots of
5 months later, suddenly the referee is part of some vlog squad. God knows.
Sorry, Gui, I know I'm hogging the mic a lot right now, but this is a bit personal. I feel like it's personal. But the thing is, apart from the mic thing, what I'm just going to say is, when I had this feeling that Ben Askren will lose the fight was during the weigh-ins, and not because of seeing how they were weighing in and seeing that dad bod of Ben Askren and then seeing Jake Paul really ripped. It was more so because I saw that robot at the back of Jake Paul, and I was like, man, if this guy's got a robot to the weigh-ins, I'm sure someone's getting paid right now and getting paid heavily. So I don't want to get into that controversy of it, but I'm just going to say that I had that feeling that it would happen after that incident. I would admit I didn't think so before, but that was the turning point for me. Sorry.
Coming to Krishnan's original question, like, I would not have tuned into Canelo's most recent fight had I not known that there is so much happening in the boxing world. I probably wouldn't have even tuned into the Wilder and Fury fight had there not been so much bad blood between them. So, credit where credit is due. And I mean to Conor for really popularizing the whole, pre-match sales technique of fighting, or all these outlandish call-outs and all of this stuff, which frankly works, right? You're getting a casual in. I'll be honest, I'm not a serious combat sports fan. I'm a casual, which nothing wrong with it, but you've pulled me in with some, something which has nothing to do with actual boxing or fighting. You just got it. You have done Big Boss before the fight so that I watch it. I don't know what else to say. And there's nothing wrong with it. A lot of people are shitting on YouTube boxing, okay, these guys aren't athletes, they're hogging the limelight from athletes. Okay, those guys are anyways not going to get the chance to fight this fight, all right? They've made a market for themselves elsewhere, which they are now trying to merge with a different form of market. Fair enough. You're not, is some dude who's worked for 10 years in a small gym really going to get that fight off the bat? No. this fight was going to happen between ex Paul and someone, or it was not going to happen. They've not taken anyone's place. That's, at least from my perspective, I don't think they've taken anyone's place. It was either going to be with them or not going to be there at all.
And you make a good point, Mazan Gui, this is a really good point you bring up of how to calibrate who they should compete with, right? It's kind of a complicated thing because none of these guys are at the level to be able to compete with a professional boxer. So their angle is kind of, maybe we can fight a UFC guy who's not a typical striker as kind of a and they're still a combat athlete. And that is what kind of, I think, is at the epitome of where the conflict comes with other sports. I actually, like you, Gui, think it's actually better for boxing because boxing is a declining sport. Like, for example, they, and obviously COVID played into this a big part, but in the COVID year, the viewership for boxing, for top rank went down 51% from pre-COVID, and for Premier Boxing Champions has gone down 36% from its pre-COVID numbers. And I think in general, over a period of years, we've seen that there's just a decline in boxing. And I think a big reason for the decline in viewership in boxing is boxing as an organization is so messy. There are so many belts, there are so many promoters that it is so complicated to follow it as a casual fan. It is very, very complicated. And it's very difficult to get the best fights because every single fight, you have to coordinate the promoter, both organizers have to agree, both boxers have to agree. It is such a mess. That is different from this YouTube boxing scene because essentially it's just one group that's organizing it. It's basically this Triller seems to be organizing everything. So you really can get the best fights. So that's one. So what this is doing is, like you, Gui, I was someone who never followed boxing. Because of all this hype and noise around it, I've started following, vaguely at the back of my mind, following what's happening with Canelo, what's happening with Tyson Fury, what's happening with Deontay Wilder. Kind of, it's at the back of my mind. I'm starting to follow it. But the sport that I think so I think it's better for boxing. The sport I think it's worse for is actually UFC. And I think there are a couple of reasons for that. One, there is a little bit of overlap between boxing promoters that are doing pro fights and the boxing promoters that are doing these YouTube fights. Like Eddie Hearn, who was, Canelo and Billy Joe Saunders' promoter, was also the promoter for KSI and Logan Paul. So the boxing promoters are making sure that there isn't as much of an overlap with other big boxing tournaments. They don't give a shit about the UFC. Like I said, right, the Ben Askren versus Jake Paul fight was on the exact same night as the UFC fight night. That's problem one. Problem two is they're calling out dudes in the UFC because, like I said, they can't fight pro boxers, but they can fight guys who aren't typically, strikers in the UFC. Which means if those guys take those fights, we're going to lose out on huge fights in the UFC. For example, right, before Jake Paul went to Ben Askren, he actually was trying to get a Conor McGregor fight. Think about if he did get that Conor McGregor fight, we lose out on Poirier versus Conor McGregor 2, potentially lose out on Conor versus, Poirier 3, which is a huge, huge risk. And you think about it, like guys like Conor and Kamaru Usman and Poirier, they can afford to be in the UFC because they'll be in headline events. You look at smaller guys, take a Jorge Masvidal now. Jorge Masvidal now, after his loss to Kamaru Usman, super unlikely to get another title shot, super unlikely, very unlikely to even get a contender shot at this point. For him, the big money is really to go and do one of these exhibition fights because he'll have to face some random YouTuber. He'll make a crap ton of money, definitely more than he's going to make from the UFC because he's not going to be a headline event in the UFC anymore, just very honestly. So Maz, what are your thoughts on the challenges the UFC is going to face now with this YouTube scene, this YouTube boxing scene? And Dana White has spoken a lot about it.
This is a tough pill to swallow, and that's why I said it's very disgraceful and insulting to these combat sport athletes. And okay, maybe not so much for boxing. Like you said, I don't have a problem with YouTube boxing. Let me be very clear. My problem is these guys calling out athletes who have dedicated their blood, sweat, tears, their entire life to that sport. And we've seen them reach the epitome of their sport in their respective, whatever it may be, right? Ben Askren at the end of the day is an Olympian, and that's the peak performance for any athlete. So, I mean, you just destroyed the man's legacy and everything he stood for because of this fight. I mean, whatever said and done, like it's ugly to watch something like that happen, because no one's going to look at Ben Askren the same way, especially those who have not watched Ben Askren in mixed martial arts. They just know that, oh, he was in the UFC and all of that, but they don't know what a great grappler he was and what a great fighter he was otherwise. Like, people feared Ben Askren in the UFC when it came to, like, if they had to have a fight with him, because they knew how good he was at his wrestling game. Now, coming back to a few of the other things that you said and how it hampers the UFC also, go trash talk whoever you want, like do your thing with KSI, do your thing with, I don't know, whoever, chase after whoever you want. Just don't get into these guys, yeah, because firstly, it's everyone has an ego. Let's face it, these people have achieved so much, so they have massive egos. So if you call them out, at the end of the day, they also have a temper, and generally most combat athletes do have that because of course, several reasons. So when you go trash talking them, these guys who have turned pros, trained their entire lives, just destroys the charm and legitimacy of the sport altogether.
Yeah, and
Let's say, and Krishna, like Conor McGregor, I think is a perfect example also because of the Floyd Mayweather fight. He went 10 rounds with the one of the greatest boxers ever. He went 10 rounds with him. So don't give me shit about, oh, like UFC fighters can't box and all of that. Conor McGregor's a fantastic striker. In fact, he depends more on his striking ability with his hands than his feet. So they picked their fight smartly. Sadly, it's reflected extremely badly on the sport, and that's why it's going to hamper it. It's not about the clash of the times or the days it's happening. It's more about now, like kids who watch it now, they'll be like, oh, is the UFC actually that good? Is it that legit? And that is my issue, because we have seen the way these guys bleed in the ring. We've seen the amount of skill that is required, the amount of stamina that's required in the sport. I remember that fight that Jake Paul, was it Jake Paul? Yeah, Jake Paul had with Aneson Gibb. I saw Aneson Gibb. I don't know if you pronounce it like that. Sorry, I don't know these influencers. But but the point is, this guy, I just saw him swinging like a random, literally like not even an amateur. It's like literally one of us going into the ring and having a fight. He was swinging like he never trained for boxing. And to watch that was a shit show and a joke. And so then, dude, you have the audacity to fight. Fine, you fight this guy and you beat him, and then you have the audacity to call out Conor McGregor. Please, just come in line, bro, and chill out a bit. Because even if you beat Conor McGregor, you don't realize what harm you are doing to a sport and an entire industry that has been built over years and years.
And
That's
Maz,
my problem.
I'm sorry to kind of
No, I'm done. Anyway.
No. And I'm sorry to kind of like say a similar point, but I think if there's one takeaway that we want to give to our viewers, it's that, listen, if these guys want to call out people and have those fights, that's fine. That's totally their right. They're allowed to have, to build a business out of it. But as a viewer, be aware of the fact that this is not the best versus the best. Don't be confused. Even if Logan Paul defeats, even hypothetically, if Logan Paul defeats Floyd Mayweather, don't be confused and say, oh, it's really easy to be a boxer. Oh, anyone can be a boxer and they are the best in the world. No, none of these fights are like for like fights. Dana White said this when he was asked about Jake Paul, and when he said, yeah, if you want to watch like random influencers facing each other, enjoy watching that. That's your right. What I do is I get the best people fighting the best people. That's what I do. Okay. So if you genuinely want to watch, if you are interested in watching the best at mixed martial arts or the best at boxing, watch professional boxing and watch professional MMA and the UFC, because they really even the playing field. They fight at the same weight levels. Which generally accounts for strength of the punch and accounts for reach and things like that, generally in the range. and they're maintaining a like for like fight amongst two people. What these YouTubers and influencers are doing is they're just fighting people. There isn't so much weight control. There isn't really like as much checking on these things. You take Floyd Mayweather has been out of the game for like 8 or 9 years at this point.
Who's
Ben
doing
Askren,
drug testing also, Krishna?
yeah, who knows? It's just not being measured. So if you're someone who just wants to watch the fun of seeing like random people fighting each other, that's fine, and that's your right, and you can enjoy it. But don't confuse that with thinking that these people are at the same level. Logan Paul is not the best boxer in the world, no matter what he does. Okay, if he faces Canelo Alvarez at Canelo Alvarez's weight, or he faces Tyson Fury at Tyson Fury's weight, which there is no chance it's going to bloody happen, then you will convince me that these guys are the best boxers or MMA people in the world. And they're not. So don't confuse those two things. If you want to enjoy watching that, you can enjoy that. The one thing, Guri, I wanted to come with you with, because I did also want to say, like, you know, there is a lot of trash talk, like you said, Muzz. And let's also just say, dude, the trash talk isn't good. Like, I've actually watched a lot of the, like, trash talking content. Like, you know, one of the things that's coming up now, one thing about, like, when I'm working, I like to have some general white noise in the background. So I listened to this TikToker versus YouTube event that's about to happen. And I listened to the whole press conference. The trash talk is ridiculously bad. And it's so blatantly obvious that they're causing conflict where there is none. And it's just a bunch of nonsense. All, dude, if you run up on me on the street, I'm going to kick your ass. It's like, dude, why? There is no reason. Like, there is zero reason. You're going to fight in the ring. And UFC fighters do that as well. But there's something about the genuine threat and the genuine background of where, like, their training and their intensity during a fight camp that doesn't correlate to the influencers' boxing situation. So I think the trash talk, frankly, is very average. We saw even when Jake Paul, Ben Askren, like, Jake Paul could not keep up with Ben Askren because Ben Askren was genuinely really good and quippy. It's kind of like, I even seen the MMA, right? You see, like, Conor McGregor's trash talk versus, like, Colby Covington's. Like, Colby Covington is so naturally artificial. It's so obviously artificial and so obviously not on the spot and so obviously cringy. That's kind of how I feel about the entire, like, trash talking scene. But Gui, I do want to go to you and kind of ask about this. Like, how have you enjoyed just watching content around it? Because it's so unbelievably cringy. It obviously brings viewership, but it's so unbelievably cringy. Have you watched any of this? Like, how does it make you feel?
So I'll be very honest. This it's not fun. It really isn't. Like, I don't even like the way, you know, Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury are going at it. Forget, like, muddling the field up with people who are, like, generally out of the sport and trying to, you know, cash in. It's even for that matter, Tyson Fury, like, you know, calling out ex Paul. Sorry, I don't know which one it was. I apologize. I don't mean to be rude. I just don't know which one it was.
I think Jake Paul might potentially be fighting Tommy Fury, who is Tyson Fury's brother. Again, Tommy Fury is not a boxer, guys. He's not a fucking boxer. He's Tyson Fury's brother.
Yes, that
He called out Shaq also. He called out Shaq also because Shaq was sitting right next to him. What is going on, man? Sorry, go ahead.
That's the thing, right? Like, I'm not a fan of Tyson Fury calling said Paul out on behalf of his brother either. Like, it's just like, how has professional sport gone to this level where, or okay, you want to do a cage fight, and okay, but Tyson Fury is an oddball, right? He's saying those things like, we'll take you on the street, we have enough money, whatever amount you want to bet, we are willing to do. And okay, that's a very different sport, which is fair. But again, the Fury versus Joshua, the Fury versus Wilder, it's not fun. Like, I'll be honest, as entertaining as Conor is in his interviews, I'm not a fan of that either, because it's not my thing. To be honest, I don't know if other people enjoy it. I don't.
I also will say Connor's, I think, has gotten worse over the years. Like, he's become a lot more artificial. I think he was a little more natural. He was a little more, he was a little more natural, and just now he's become, and maybe just because he's losing now, it just seems less threatening. Like, it just doesn't seem as dangerous.
There's no doubt he's been a revelation. No matter how his career goes forward, he's done his bit.
Like, this guy,
he's already set his name.
I'll be very honest. To me, he's that athlete who put UFC on the map.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, yeah, like the world started knowing about the UFC thanks to Conor McGregor. For even those who don't know about combat sports, know about Conor McGregor. So no doubt.
That's the thing.
And I think one thing to keep in mind is, that's a great point. I think even the trend, and maybe YouTube and influencer boxing has influenced this. Even in general now, other fight, UFC, pro boxing, the level of trash talk is kind of very artificial. Like it's just unnecessarily unnecessarily verbally aggressive, and not necessarily hitting home. It is a little bit cringy. Some of the call outs have been more recently. But I do want to talk a little bit about the positives of this YouTube boxing trend, and I think the small positive is guys like a Ben Askren, right, who had an extremely successful Olympian career, very successful in the ONE FC, frankly not hugely successful in the UFC. He beat Robbie Lawler but then lost his next two fights. Obviously had that crazy fight against Jorge Masvidal that ended before it started. But he's obviously a very, he's had a great career and deserves a lot of credit, especially in the wrestling scene. Gets an opportunity to make a shit ton of money, right? We just know there are lots of fighters who, look, the Conor McGregors and the Dustin Poiriers will be fine. They will make a lot of money from the UFC, but the guys who aren't at that level are very unlikely to make as much. You take even like a Nate Diaz, right? Like if not for fighting Conor, he was kind of the guy who was never the main card, but maybe in the main card, but just as a fun fighter, right? He wasn't like so there is so much to earn for these guys who aren't at the upper echelon. Like for example, Ben Askren, right? He gets to make this huge amount of money by fighting a dude who, like, even if he loses, hopefully isn't a huge amount of physical damage on his body, right? It's hopefully just not a lot of damage, and can earn a lot from it, right? And you look at some of the people who are being talked about, right? You talk about someone like a Dylan Dennis. Now, Dylan Dennis is a different issue because the dude doesn't fight in the UFC also. I don't know where he's fighting. No one has any idea when this dude has last fought. But someone like him, even if he fought, is not going to make a fuck ton of money from the UFC, but could earn a good amount just like doing this random fight on the side. So that's one positive. And I do want to talk a little bit about the purse for these fights. So Canelo in the fight versus Billy Joe Saunders, apparently Canelo was guaranteed 15 million. And then Saunders was guaranteed 2.5 million. And then Canelo would apparently earn 60% of the pay-per-view share compared to Saunders' 40. So the total payouts after the fight was about 35 million for Canelo and about 5 million for Saunders. And obviously Canelo won, so it makes sense that he got more. But even pre the result, he would have gotten slightly more, obviously, because he brings in more of the pay-per-view than Billy Joe Saunders. Kamaru Usman in the UFC 261 fight, which was headlined by Kamaru Usman versus Jorge Masvidal. Kamaru Usman earned 1.5 million. So he earned 750,000 just to show up. He earned 650,000 for the pay-per-view bonus, 60,000 in sponsorship bonus, and then 50,000 in performance of the night bonus. Jorge Masvidal earned 800,000, which was again 500,000 just to show up, 260,000 pay-per-view bonus, and then 40,000 sponsorship bonus. So what's interesting is, Kamaru Usman earning about 1.5 million on a night that he wins in the UFC is the headline event. What's obviously complicated about boxing and UFC is the numbers they share are not consistent. Everyone's a little bit cagey about how much detail to provide. But just off the fight, Ben Askren, just a salary, that's a salaried amount, Ben Askren was compensated 500,000. So that's just the amount to show up, which is the same as what Jorge Masvidal was paid just to show up for UFC 261 as the bloody headline event. Now, what's complicated is we have no idea what the pay-per-view bonuses are for Ben Askren and Jake Paul. That's not revealed. Jake Paul said, now this might be BS, but he said he earned about 10 million on his Nate Robinson fight. That might be BS, but even say it's less, even say it's like 4 million, 5 million. That is a hell of a lot more than what even Kamaru Usman is earning after winning UFC 261. So there is just a little bit of a market for these guys to earn a lot of money super quickly. And if you're someone who's not at the prime in the UFC or in boxing, it's an opportunity to just earn some extra cash. Maz, any thoughts on Maz? Gui, I'll go to either of you. Oh, sorry, go for it.
It's like Anelka and Berbatov in the ISL.
Exactly. No, exactly. It's dudes who are, past their primes, essentially looking to make some money. Guys, any closing comments? I do have some fun questions for you to go into after this, but any last final comments, thoughts, positives, negatives, any last shots? Do you want to call out anybody? Are you looking to fight a KSI or a Jake Paul by any chance?
To cat. That's all I'm gonna say. And then he just got a black eye. That's it. But
Ridiculous.
that was absolutely, I don't even know, man. Like, entertaining for sure. Like, childish as hell and stupid. And like, you knew you were gonna get your ass whooped. What were you asking for? Like, you didn't expect that to happen. I mean, he's the fucking best fighter record-wise ever, man. What's wrong with you?
Also, what is the point of all this? Like, what is the point? You have this huge tussle outside. I mean, their point is they'll get more money on the fight. That's just the honest truth. It sucks. But,
no, but closing thoughts, all I'll say is with one quote, and I think this is very important for whoever, like, you know, like Krishnan already mentioned, you don't mix the two. Like, don't mix professional boxing, don't mix combat sports, don't mix YouTube boxing. And the reason for that is Vladimir Klitschko himself said it. A boxer has no chance of winning an MMA fight, and an MMA fighter has no chance of beating a boxer. This is the key here. So do not mix all of this, and there's no like for like or pound for pound fighting going on in YouTube boxing. So always learn to respect the pros. They are pros for a reason. They get their dues. They've put in blood, sweat, and tears. So I think it's time to start appreciating athletes much more than we do in general. Not only talk about boxing or MMA in general, or any combat sports for that matter. Any sport, I think athletes are shat on much more just because of the money they earn, including football, man. I think footballers come up from nothing and have made their way up there. Them getting paid is not up to them. They don't really command so much money. It's all the others around them that ask for it. So just wanted to highlight that.
So Gui, that was Mazhar. Gui, what are your final thoughts on all this, man?
See, I'm not as opposed to it as Maz is. Like, my feelings aren't that strong. I'm just going to, I'll say why. So what I think is, this is going to pull a lot of casual fans into combat sports, and some will naturally filter towards pro fighting, right? Whether be it pro boxing or MMA. I don't see people going from UFC to YouTube boxing. You can watch it casually, but I don't think there's going to be like a loss of an audience. It's not like you're going to pick one over the other. You might just watch YouTube boxing, but as entertainment, but you will always stick there. But some people will filter from YouTube boxing to UFC and pro boxing, which let's be honest, UFC might not need like more eyeballs, but pro boxing could really do with more people watching, right? So again, not that opposed to it. It's something I might not watch unless I see like a really big name turn up to, a fight. And that's not to say that Ben Askren isn't a big name or Floyd isn't a big name. And I'm not saying I won't watch the Floyd fight.
I won't watch it.
But there's a very different reason to watch the Floyd fight. You want to see an ass whooping, and
yeah. But I'll watch the highlights. I'm not giving them any sort of like pay-per-view money for sure, man. No chance.
I mean, like, even being interested is what I meant. Like, watching is very different. But it does it pique your interest maybe slightly because you want to see someone get like pummeled because of the sheer overconfidence, which might not happen. Let's be honest. There's a size difference and stuff like that. It's intentionally made interesting in a that's they sell it very well. I can't deny that. So it's a very good sell. Maybe not for like people who really are into the UFC for different reasons. So if you are a fan of striking, maybe you watch it. If you're a fan of grappling and the ground and pound, it might not be a thing. But again, I don't think there's anything getting taken away from professional combat sports, so I couldn't care less about it. That's my honest opinion.
Absolutely. I think moral of the story is, if you're a viewer, watch whatever you want, enjoy whatever you want. You have every right to do that. Just pay respect to the guys who the men and women who do this, like genuinely dedicate their lives to doing it and realize that there is a difference in level. You don't see it as much in these fights because it's not a like for like playing field, but there is a difference in level if genuinely you level the playing field. But again, what you want, man? Who am I to tell you? Maybe if you can ask Khabib to send over the free link for all these events, then maybe even I'd fucking watch it.
I remember Dana's face in that. That was priceless.
So good.
So good. Miss you, Khabib. Miss you, man.
So guys, I had a couple of questions. So 2 are like quiz questions, so kind of right or wrong answers. Then I had a couple that are just kind of fun questions for us to discuss. So the first 2, in the theme of influencer and YouTube and social media boxing, who has the most Insta followers amongst these people? Canelo Alvarez, KSI, Mike Tyson, or Bryce Hall? And I'm realizing Mazhar may not even know who Bryce Hall is. He's a TikTok guy. So those are the 4 people. Who do
you know my Achilles heel now in quizzes?
I know. We have to keep this in mind, Gui. Let's keep this in mind.
So is this like combined social media following?
Sorry, just on Insta. Who has the most Insta followers? I didn't look through all. Just Insta followers. Canelo, KSI, Mike Tyson, and Bryce Hall.
So I understand if Bryce Hall doesn't have a Twitter following, but he could be big on Insta because similar-ish platform.
Also, let me take that one out because anyway, Mazhar it wasn't him anyway, so I'll take that one out because Mazhar doesn't even know who it is. So let's keep it to those 3: Canelo, Mike Tyson, and KSI. I feel Mike Tyson at this point is 50% social media, 50% boxer anyway. At this point,
and he's 100% going to bite your ear off. So, but okay. Logically, KSI.
Okay.
Safe.
Okay.
I'm saying Mike Tyson, yeah.
Mazhar, even in this realm, is right.
Interesting.
It is Mike Tyson. I was kind of surprised, to be honest. So Mike Tyson has 14.7 million. KSI has only 9.4 million.
This is all after his podcast. Okay.
Probably.
This is not from the boxing. This is the podcast following.
Yeah, I was very surprised. And actually, Canelo's pretty close to KSI. So KSI is 9.4 million. Canelo's 9.2. So pretty close, actually. Pretty close.
Proud of the boxing fans right now. So proud. Super proud of them.
Yeah, good job, man. Good job, yeah. Okay, so at the Ben Askren versus Jake Paul fight, there were a shit ton of famous people either announcing or performing. I'm gonna go just free for all. Whoever wants to answer first answer. Who can name the most people who either performed or announced at that tournament? There are a shit ton of famous people. Just name. Just whoever wants to go, just name, and you get points for naming it.
Gui, you want to go first?
No.
Why don't you go one by one? So Mazhar, you go first.
Drake
was neither performing or announcing. Interestingly,
he was there though. I know he was there. I just assumed. Okay, fine, fair.
Gui.
Performing or announcing? Announcing? What do you mean a famous person was announcing? So it wasn't like an announcer? It was just like some...
Announcing / commentating. Announcing, commentating, performing.
See, I don't think Rogan would do it in his right mind.
Bro, Rogan was at the UFC, bro. I told you, same night.
You have to drop a hint. Come on, like...
Okay.
Just go for it, yeah.
Go for it. I guess anyone.
Arey yaar, koi bhi. Mike Tyson.
Not Shaq. I'll give you all a hint. Smoke weed every day.
So there are 2 options that I've thought of right now. Wiz Khalifa or Snoop Dogg. One of the 2.
Snoop Dogg. So Snoop Dogg is one of them. I think he's like a part owner, a promoter of Triller also. Gui, your hint is he is a really famous pop star with a tattoo sleeve up and down who started very young.
I already got it. Come on, Gui.
Famous. White guy. Canadian dude.
I got my peaches down in Georgia. Oh, yeah.
Jay Beebs.
Jay Beebs, baby. Jay Beebs. So anyway,
Khalid was there. DJ Khalid had to be there. Yeah? Come on.
I'm sure he was there. But so anyway, I'll go through the list of performers. There was Black Keys, Justin Bieber, Doja Cat, Sweetie, Diplo, They said Diplo but Major Lazer, but isn't that the same person? Diplo is Major Lazer, right?
Major Laser's 3 people. Diplo's one of them in Major
Oh,
Lazer.
okay. So Diplo and Major Lazer, and then there was a hip hop super group called Mount Westmore, which was Snoop Dogg, Ice Cube, Too Short, and E40. And then for like the announcers slash like people who are like just like giving awards, like giving out the belt and stuff, there was Pete Davidson, supermodel Taylor Hill, Mario Lopez.
Taylor Hill was the announcer for the last Jake Paul fight, right? Which was
Yeah, that's only Ben Askren.
Ben Askren was the last Jake Paul fight.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then TikTok stars Dixie and Charlie D'Amelio, who I'm sure Mazhar has no clue who they are.
No, I just know Taylor Hill, and that's all that matters.
And then the announcer, so the commentary team, like there was the Triller co-owner and Combat Sports enthusiast. So that's what Snoop Dogg is. That was Snoop Dogg, and then they had Ray Flores, Al Bernstein, and Mike Coppinger as the proper like boxing analysts.
What is combat sports enthusiast?
Yeah, as you can tell, I copied this from a website and I'm reading it as we go. So next guys, next is just opinion questions. So totally what you feel about. Guys, what is one other maybe influencer, some famous person basically outside boxing that you'd be interested in seeing fighting in UFC or MMA, UFC or boxing format? Doesn't have to be a social media influencer, just any two people who you think it'd be interesting to watch.
Zlatan.
Not
He'd
bad.
kill the other guy, man. Oh, he would kill. He would destroy.
That's a great pick.
Most obvious.
I'd say Kevin Hart. I would love. I think it would be super entertaining. So I would say Kevin Hart, and and also potentially Jackie Chan. Yeah, even at this age, I would love to see if he still got it. Yeah,
That's a great question. I think for me it was like Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I know he used to be in WWE, but I'd love to see like how good he is actually at fighting. Like it would be kind of cool to see.
my only problem with The Rock is steroids, right? So that's my only problem with that.
Good point.
Who's big enough to fight him? Like, who are you getting?
Brock Lesnar, he'll come
Bro,
back.
the mountain also is there, na? Mountain can fight him.
Mountain won the strongest man on the planet or something. So I don't think anyone wants to fuck with him.
True. Okay, guys. So, like, in the theme of going back to like pro sports, what is one boxing matchup you want to happen that has not happened, or maybe it can't happen anymore? Like, it could have been once in history that it could have happened, but now it can't happen anymore. One boxing fight you wish could have happened, or you wish to happen.
No, I don't know. I can't think of something like that off the bat, but we need Canelo versus Caleb Plant.
Great point. That looks like the next one in that for the last of the belts in that weight category for Canelo. That's a good one. Not again the complexity of boxing. Like in the UFC, this would just happen. Like it's just done.
Belts does he need to have to be unified champion? Like
Yeah.
suddenly there'll be another guy, another promoter. There's one more belt. Sorry, you're not unified champion anymore.
It's such a bloody mess, dude. It's such a bloody
Krishna,
mess.
what about you? I think this one's an interesting one for you also.
So I'll be honest. I don't follow boxing super closely, but I've watched like a bunch of YouTube on it. But so one thing that someone else mentioned, so I'm copying his answer, was if Canelo and Floyd had actually fought in Canelo's prime, because Canelo and Floyd fought at a point where like Floyd was sort of in his prime and Canelo was super young, and the Canelo that fought him is like super different from the Canelo now. So something like that was going to be my answer of like the exact same fight repeat, but like 5 years into Canelo's career, and like because Canelo what he is now is nothing like even maybe Canelo 3 years ago. Again, from what I hear on YouTube.
I'm gonna go way back actually, because I've like watched a bit of Joe Frazier in videos and stuff. So I have to say I would have loved to have watched him. And against Ken Norton, they never fought because they were friends. I mean, they were close, so I think that's why they never fought. Same case as we'll probably never see Kamaru and Israel also fight. So I would say boxing, definitely Joe Frazier, Ken Norton would have been a fight I would have loved to have watched. Yeah.
Perfect. So guys, now let's go into the last one. Exact same question, but I think the combat sport we probably follow the most, which is UFC. What is a dream matchup you wish either happened, you hope to happen? Exact same question. Muzz, I'll go to you first.
Khabib, George St. Pierre. I know there's a mismatch in terms of the weight, and I don't know how that would work. But the versatility of St. Pierre and Khabib's unbeaten record. Oh, what a dream fight that would have been.
Good one, very good one. And it was, I think, Khabib's dad's dream was for him to fight George St. Pierre or something, right? Both such respected guys, and both like
great people, great humans.
And two of the greatest
incredible
pound for pound fighters in the UFC's history. Like,
there's still one guy who's making claims. Exactly, we know it.
He'll disagree. But now this is think about how good GSP is. He has John Jones's respect. Like when the whole Khabib is the best pound for pound fighter thing was escalating too much, he said it like the only person who could stand a chance against me in terms of being the best pound for pound is GSP because of the number of title defenses they've each had. But now coming to your question, like I'd love to watch John Jones fight. Like there's something so unique about what he got with the elbows, and then just like it's just sick. Like again, all the outside the ring indiscipline and all. If you keep all of those things aside, the fighting was always top tier. Like there's no complaints about that. Who would I want to fight? Like it's the Ngannou fight. I don't think is going to happen because it's just jeopardizing everything John has, unless he is looking for a one and done with the UFC and MMA for good. In which case he's like, pay me so much money that even if I get like my legacy boils down to zero after this, I'm good. So I don't think that fight's happening. Now,
yeah, prime John Jones versus Ngannou would have been, I think, one of the greatest fights ever.
What a fight that would have been! Ngannou is the what we saw from him in the Stipe fight was everything you thought he could never get, right? But yeah, Francis Ngannou, John Jones, I still love for it to happen now also. But prime John Jones would have been a different ball game. Is what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
What about you, Krishnan?
So I think I think I would have had the same answer. UFC somehow make it happen. I don't know if John Jones is going to accept the price tag, but Dana thoda aur de de yaar. Come on, it's a great fight.
Dana also, come on.
Great one, bro. Great one. But I think if I don't answer that, Maz, I'll say the one that you kind of alluded to already, which is either Kamaru Usman going up or Israel Adesanya coming down and facing each other. It'll never happen. But I do hope for that only because I think in their two weight categories, they're kind of running out of people to fight. Like they're just facing the same people on second fights, right? Kamaru already fought Jorge twice. He's going to fight Colby twice. Israel Adesanya is going to fight second time against Vettori, and there just frankly aren't that many people anymore. I'm sure people will come, but no one really right now.
The UFC has a bit of a problem with their champions. They're just too good. Amanda Nunes is also running the show, so I hope they find someone soon. Yeah,
but there was a time where like
this is why YouTube boxing is even succeeding now because of this like for like shit.
No, that's a very good point. Anyway, thank you all for listening to our episodes. Do share if you did enjoy this episode. Leave us a comment. Feel free to just directly message us with your thoughts on this whole YouTube boxing scene, or if you want any other discussion that you would like for us to have on combat sports, do let us know. But with that, signing off from All About Sports, we'll have another episode for you all next week. Take care and stay safe.